Hey everyone, I'm meteorologist Brad Sugden, also owner of Brad Sugden Weather LLC. We're going to give you an update on the ice storm that we're having, not only that's ongoing already, but it's going to be ongoing for a couple of days still. Check out my sponsor, Generator Magic. This is a situation where you might need them because they provide generator parts, especially for Generac generators. And with an ice storm, well, we're probably going to end up needing it. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. We have a lot going on in terms of watches and warnings tonight. This is being recorded just as of about 10 p.m. And we're going to try and keep it brief, but I tend to be long winded, so let's get through this while we can. Lots going on in the UP. We have the dark purple, this little transparent with Newberry, Munising, Marquette. That is the ice storm warning. That also includes northern lower, and this will be not only for as we go into Saturday morning, but also as we go throughout Saturday night into Sunday morning as well. The pink for the Keweenaw Peninsula, that is a winter storm warning for snow and wind up there. Now the purple that's kind of more lavender, that is more opaque on the western part of the UP, like right there, that is a winter weather advisory. And we've also already had severe thunderstorm warnings for Menominee County as of Friday night for 1-inch diameter hail. So there is a lot going on. Lastly, I want to show you the blue that we have across northern lower from Alpena to Otsego County. That is a winter storm watch. This could be upgraded to an ice storm warning, just like the folks further off to the north as well. So we've got a very large, very dynamic storm system going on, and there's just going to be a lot to talk about and a lot to track. So I'm going to try and keep you updated with some of these video updates going forward here as we go throughout the next several hours or so. So I do want to start off by showing you kind of what we can expect here. This is a model called the HRRR, also known as the HER or the HRRR. This is the high resolution rapid refresh model. Does a pretty good job sometimes. It can be out to lunch other times, but this is actually starting right at midnight Saturday morning, so not too far after I'm recording this video. If you're watching it later, it might be in the past already. So as you can see, overnight we do keep a lot of rain ongoing across northern lower. The purple is freezing rain. The peach coral color, whatever you want to call that, is sleet, and then the blue is snow. Now, there's a little confusion on sleet, and that is A-OK because a lot of folks definitely think it's like a mix of rain and snowflakes coming down. Sleet is actually a frozen raindrop. So think about a droplet of water, a little sphere, right? And then that sphere is hard and icy. That's what sleet is. So when you get those little teeny balls on the ground that look like sand and you can move them around with your hand like sand, that is sleet. So we're going to see a couple inches of that potentially in some areas. Now, when sleet gets a little dangerous and hairy is when it is kind of mixed in with some rain at times, then it can stick just like an ice accumulation to things or wet snow or things like that. Okay, so again, this is 4 o'clock in the morning Saturday. We're going to go forward to 8 o'clock in the morning, which is right here. So notice it looks like things are slowing down already, right? Yes, they are. But that's good. That's what we want for a little bit. Slowing down for a little bit. Now notice for northern lower, this is set at 11 a.m. We are already starting to see things pick up in terms of freezing rain from Alpena through areas like Atlanta over towards Gaylord. Now, we're going to go forward just a few more hours here. This is 18Z or 2 p.m. We're starting to see some hit or miss showers, brief downpours to the south in the warmth of the day, if you will. Notice you're probably like, what's going on in the Upper Peninsula? I thought it was supposed to be bad up there. It will be. This is the break in between a couple of rounds. Look what happens by the time we get a little further into Saturday. This is 8 o'clock in the evening, Saturday evening. Lots of freezing rain and sleet across northern lower. We have some freezing rain showing up in Wisconsin as well as Menominee County, and that continues to spread northward. So look what happens overnight into early Sunday. We're going to go forward here through several hours, and this is 8 o'clock in the morning Sunday now. So that whole time we had freezing rain for the southern shoreline, the northern shoreline of Lake Michigan and the southern UP, the Straits, Mackinac Island, Beaver Island, down through Gaylord, Pelson, Petoskey, Charlevoix. That's where we're seeing a lot of this freezing rain as well, while the blue is snow a little further off to the north. This model only goes so far, but I want to show you something right about here. This is when we get into Sunday afternoon. This is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Possibility for severe storms exists down to the south. So that's something that we have to keep a very close eye on as well. That's as far as that model goes out, but we can switch over to a different model. This is called the NAM, or the North American model. We're going to fast forward here into early Sunday morning again, where the other one left off. So this is 8 o'clock in the morning Sunday. Again, we got a mess going on across the Upper Peninsula. Going a little further out into Sunday afternoon, you can see things really start to pick up. This is stopping right at about 5 p.m. now. So 5 p.m. we have sleet in this peach coral color. The purple, lavender, whatever you want to call that, magenta is freezing rain. And again, that's very heavy at times. And then some more rain a little further down to the south as well. So notice, I'm going to backtrack here. We had a lot of freezing rain, Gaylord, Alpena, Rogers City, freezing rain, warms up later Sunday, turns into rain, and we start to melt it off. Let's go a little further to right here. There's that severe storm potential from Big Rapids through Grand Rapids, all the way down through Coldwater. Pretty much along and south of US 10 is where this line of thunderstorms goes. This is at 8 p.m. Sunday, so we're still seeing some freezing rain, sleet, and snow, and the possibility for severe weather down to the south. Go a couple hours further into the future, that line kind of fizzles out as it goes east according to this model, but just in case it doesn't, let's pretend that we still fill this in from Flint down through Ann Arbor, down through Monroe County, into the Detroit Metro. This would be about 10 p.m. Sunday, so I would still watch out. Hopefully it fizzles out, but if it doesn't, 10 p.m. Sunday is about when we would expect those storms to go through. And then notice we finally start to see things taper off a little bit further after that. So in terms of what we can expect for different kinds of precip totals coming on down, let's start off from the most frozen, which is snow. Notice we could have in excess of a foot across the Keweenaw Peninsula, as well as the western UP, and not too much for anyone else. This goes into early Monday morning. And let's see here. Sleet totals. Notice, like I said, sleet is like icy sand, right? You know, you can move those little balls around. It like moves like sand, kind of. Well, we could have several inches of that, maybe up to 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of sleet. That's a lot. That's a lot of sleet. Freezing rain totals. Now, this is where I'm going to do a little bit of an explainer. Don't let this scare you too bad. It is concerning, I will say. We do have the possibility for some tree limbs to come down and some power outages. But what's kind of helping us out is that this is going to be like absolute downpours in some cases. So, where we have the highest totals, that's where the model is picking up on those very heavy downpours. That's why they're so much higher than other areas. Now, think about your car outside, and let's say your car, you know, it's below freezing and everything. Imagine a downpour coming down onto your car, even though it's like 29 or 30 degrees. It's not going to instantly turn to ice, right? It's going to run off onto the ground, and yeah, it'll turn to ice here and there for sure. But my point is the whole 2 inches of rain that some people get is not going to turn into 2 inches of ice instantly. It's going to run off onto the ground. That's also the same for power lines, the same for tree branches, you know, your roof, things like that. There will be some runoff. So this is not all going to stick to trees. It's not all going to stick to power lines. If anything, I'd say you could cut this in half, maybe even a little bit more. So where you see like 1.5, 1.59, 1.44, seriously, cut it in half, because that's not all going to stick to power lines and tree branches and things like that. We're looking at up to 3/4 of an inch, I think, is pretty good. And the National Weather Service has been calling it. It's very, very smart. It takes, you know, that's some great thinking on their part, not to just run with these numbers, to be realistic, to think about the science behind it, and use our knowledge and experience. What's going to happen? You know, what are the odds that we actually get 2 inches of ice on every tree branch on a tree? Not very high. Now, these other numbers, you know, up to 0.45, maybe up to 0.73, those are certainly realistic, and that can cause a lot of damage and a lot of power outages. So I just want to say that, you know, we're not looking for like biblical end of the world ice totals here. Certainly something to watch out for, but it's just going to, you know, it's not going to, it's all stick, basically. In terms of total moisture, I mean, look at this. This is even higher. Some of us could see over 4 inches of total moisture across northern lower Michigan. And you know, some of those areas need it. Parts of the state are still in a drought. They haven't had good moisture up there. I mean, lake effect, absolutely. But, you know, this moisture will go into the ground and hopefully help us out as we get into the dry spring before things start to green up, you know. So this might actually knock the fire danger down in the future just a little bit, which is some excellent news there. But again, other models showing lots of the same thing. I'm just going to kind of filter through. This is total liquid precip no matter what falls. So we're looking at the Euro here, 2 to 3 inches of total liquid moisture. The GFS going up to 4 in some cases. The Canadian going 5. Yeah, that one's out to lunch a little bit. I'd be surprised if we get 5 inches. You can see the NAM is going a little over 4 in some cases as well. So there's a lot of moisture coming down for sure. But just to keep everyone up to date on these freezing rain totals, see, this one's going over 3 inches. It's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. Now, I do think we have the possibility for over an inch in this area, and that's a lot. I would also plan on something because travel is just not recommended across the Upper Peninsula at all. It's not recommended across the tip of the Mitt either. The Mackinac Bridge is likely to be closed because all that ice sticking to it is going to fall off. And they're going to close it while the ice is falling off. And it could be a couple of days for all that ice to fall off. So just to be clear, make sure you're on the right side of the bridge before things get too bad. Just doing that. We can take a look at the bridge really quick because they have awesome cameras for us to look at here. And there's a lot of great cameras around the whole Upper Peninsula for everyone to look at. So you can see the heavy precip coming down, turning. Again, it runs off a little bit. It's not going to stick to everything, but there's a lot of precip coming down here, and it is going to cause some icing going over the Mackinac Bridge. But it is still open right now. You see the headlights reflecting. I think that means that we're seeing some ice there and just a couple of cars out. So we are seeing some ice come down in those areas. So again, there is a lot going on. I'm going to leave you here by taking one last look at the ice storm warnings that we have in place. These are going all the way through the weekend for a lot of us. I will be posting these video updates hopefully twice a day through Saturday and Sunday as well. And of course, all the posts on Facebook. I do just need to reiterate, please thank my sponsor. They keep this kind of stuff free for you guys. I do have to make some kind of income doing this on the side from my 9 to 5 job that I have these days. So I really appreciate using my meteorology degree to help everyone out. My following has doubled in the last couple of months. I'm getting a lot of praise for covering the whole state of Michigan, and it's awesome. I really appreciate it. I genuinely care about everybody. I genuinely care about the forecast. If there is an issue and things are wrong, I post about it. So hopefully you've seen me post my verifications. If I issue a snow forecast, I post whether or not it was right or wrong. I have done it every single time. There's no shame in it. It's all science, so things go wrong, we learn, we move on. That's it. That's the end of the day. But thanks to my sponsor, I really want to thank everyone that signed up on Patreon. I want to thank all my subscribers on Facebook as well. I'm not getting rich quick off this by any stretch of the imagination, but it is making it worth my time on the side. And honestly, it works out to like less than $10 an hour. I just enjoy doing this. So thank you. And again, follow them. They have all the parts. They're based in Michigan. They ship nationally. So even if you're watching me from like my Omaha days, my West Virginia days, my South Dakota days, my Utah days, wherever the hell else I've lived on this earth, they can ship your generator parts there. So thank you very much, and hope you guys stay safe in the ice storm. Again, expect these updates to come about every 12 hours or so.